Hello, my name is Palak and I am Assistant Professor in CGC COE Landra. And today I am going to discuss with you all about data models. Before discussing with data models, first of all I will discuss about database management system. So let us first know what is database management system. So, management system is basically a collection of programs which enables users to create and maintain a database. So, DBMS is what is DBMS? It is basically a software that helps user to manipulate the data, to insert the data and to construct the data. So, first of all, we will discuss what is data actually. Data is actually the raw facts and figures of any object through which an object cannot be identified. For example, we can take example of employee number, name, salary of an employee. Individually, it is data. That is some raw facts or figures like name, salary. Individually they are known as one data. So, what is the difference between the data and information? Now, coming to information. See, salary, employee name and name, employee number and name. Collectively, if we talk about them, collectively they are some information. But alone, single, they are what are they? They are data. So, coming next, what is data file? Data file is organized collection of related information. So, for example, sales department, purchase department, administrative department of some particular company, they maintain a data file that includes the information about the data. So, what is database? Database is the organized collection of data files. If we organize all the data files in some manner, so that comes in database. These were some of the basic terms we have discussed in the database that we regularly use. So, coming next, I'll tell you some of the applications of DBMS where it is actually used in our daily lives. Actually, earlier data was stored in the files. So, it was difficult to manage all the data. So, nowadays, DBMS, that is database management software, has been designed through which all the tasks have become easier. So, we will discuss what are the major applications where DBMS is actually used. First of all, it is used in the bankings. For customer information, all the accounts, loans and banking transactions, DBMS is used. So next, in the airline for reserving your tickets or for scheduling the information, the DBMS is extremely used. And then in the universities for students, course and grade information, earlier all the data was actually stored in the files. And if you want to retrieve any of the information about the student, so then we have to actually visit the department and then all the searching of the data from the files has been done. But nowadays, what is the procedure? All the data has been stored in some software and it is easier for us to retrieve the data from there. Then for the credit card transactions, for the purposes of the credit cards and generation of monthly statements, we use DBMS. Then telecommunications, finance, manufacturing, human resources, all these are some of the applications of DBMS which are extremely used in our daily lives. So next, I'll tell you about the advantages of DBMS or for what purpose database management software is used. I can say what are the basically advantages. Why should we use DBMS software instead of storing the data in the files? First of all, reduction of redundancy and inconsistency. Unlike the file processing in database, data was actually stored in the single place and it avoids the unnecessary duplication of data which saves space and does not permit inconsistency. Earlier, inconsistency was much in the case of file processing systems, but it has been reduced by the introduction of the database software. Then coming, shared data is one of the advantages where database allows the sharing of data by the number of application program and users. Then third one is the data independence. The application programs, for example, database is one of the application program and many users, their data of the users is independent. And the DBMS can also provide the abstract view of the data to protect the application code from such details. Fourthly, integrity can be improved. Integrity, what do we mean by integrity? Integrity is actually refers to validity and consistency. That means data should be accurate as well as consistent. So there are some of the constraints that are applied in the database through which consistency of the data could be easily maintained. Then it supports the concurrent access. That concurrent, the word concurrent means that at the same time one or more tasks can be performed through this software. So DBMS schedules concurrent access to the data, that users can think of the data being accessed by only one user at a time. For example, two people reading a balance and updating it at the same time, we can perform these two tasks at the same time. This is one of the advantages that DBMS offers to us. Sixthly, it's improved backup and recovery. Backup and recovery feature is also provided by the DBMS, as we can recover the hardware and software failures as well. So, if in case any programs fails, it restores the data to that state where it had been failed. So our data will not be lost if any failure is there. Lastly, one of the important advantages is that it improved security. Security features are also provided by DBMS, and no people other than the particular department or can access the data without approval. So coming next, there are some of the disadvantages too. So we'll discuss now disadvantages of DBMS. First of all, the cost of the software is high. So we need to upgrade the hardware timely. We had to upgrade the hardware as well as the software time to time. Secondly, the cost of data conversion. When a computer file systems were replaced with a database, the data stored in the data file must be converted into the database file. We need to convert the data into the database file. That was also very much costly. Third cost of staff training. We need some employees to do the task at the back end of the database. So that too also costly. Then we need some technical staff as well for the data entry, and for some other tasks also we need database administrators and application programs as well. So that also, and we need to pay them handsome salaries. So that is through which the system cost also increases. Last one is database damage. In most of the organizations, all the data is being integrated into a single unit. For example, we can consider example of a college, like all the database is one. So if some database is damaged due to some electric failure, or some database is corrupted on the storage media only, all the valuable data will be lost forever, and it will cause too much harm. So these were all the disadvantages of DBMS. Now, this is our main topic, that is data models. I hope you will understand about the database, what is database, and what is the database management system. So next topic is data models. So first of all, I would like to tell you what are data models and what actually they mean. Data models are basically the collection of the conceptual tools which describe data, their relationship, their schematic and consistency constraints. It basically, data models describe data, about the data, and what is the relationship between the data. In other words, data model basically describes the logical structure of the database, and it defines how the data will be stored, assessed and updated in the database management system. And then there are various types of data models. First of all, I'll explain you what are the main types of data models. Data model is basically having three types, that is object-based model, record-based model and physical model. Object-based model is basically one type, that is entity relationship model. And then record-based model, relational model is there, hierarchical model is there, network model is there. And the third type of data model is physical data model. Now I'll explain you all these models, and in the last I would like to tell you which model is preferred nowadays and which model we should prefer. So first of all, we'll discuss about object-based model. First, I'll let you know what is object-based model. In object-based model, objects are basically the key representation components which are used in this model, and the example of object-based model is entity relationship model. Some terms are very necessary to understand the entity relationship model, which I will now explain you further. Before explaining that, I'll tell you what is ER model. ER model is basically the real world objects. It is a collection of real world objects which are known as entities, and what is the relationship among them. And it is basically represented using the ER diagrams. And this model is very useful in the database design. Before understanding this ER model, we need to understand some of the basic terms, and some of the basic terms having different symbols, so that we should able to know how to make an ER diagram. So it has some components. First of all, I'll tell you this sign represents entity. That is, if oval sign is made, it is the symbol of entity, and this rectangle sign represents attributes. This diagonal sign represents relationships among the entities, and the single line represents the link between the entity set and entity set to relationship set. So there are some of more symbols which we will discuss further. So what is basically entity? We have discussed the symbol of 4 of them, that is entity, attributes, link and relationship. Now we will discuss all of them line wise. So first of all, we will discuss about entity. What is entity? Entity is basically an object of concern which is used to represent the things in the real world. For example, car, table, book, anything. These terms, anything, this smart board, this pen, these are all these entities. Okay, an entity need not to be a physical entity. It can also be some concept in the real world also. For example, some project, loan, etc. Anything it could be. So it represents the class of things, not an instance. It is a class of things. Instance means object. It is not an object. It represents the class of things. For example, student is an entity and it has instances Ramesh and Mohan. For example, car is an entity and the name of the cars are their instances, or the name of the car are the objects of the entity class. So coming next, I would like to tell what is entity set or entity type. The collection of similar kind of entities is called as entity set, and it is of 2 types. First of all, weak entity set and then strong entity set. Weak entity set does not contain any key attribute, that is primary key. So I will tell you what is primary key first. Primary key is actually the key which is used to uniquely identify the entities or uniquely identify the attributes or tuples. So weak entity set is represented by the double triangle, that is triangle within triangle. And strong entity set, it contains the key attributes and it is known as the regular entity set. If the entity type contains the key attributes, it is known as the strong entity. For example, student entity contains roll number which uniquely identifies it, and it is represented by the rectangle sign. Then coming next, second is attributes. We have different type of attributes as well, but first of all I'll tell what are attributes. An attribute is a property which is used to describe the specific feature of an entity. So to describe an entity entirely, a set of attributes is used. Now we will discuss what is attribute. Attribute is a property which is used to describe a specific feature of an entity. So to describe an entity entirely, a set of attributes is used. Earlier we have discussed what is entity. For example, we had discussed student. Student is an entity and the name of the students are the attributes. So to describe an entity entirely, set of attributes are used. If I want to describe an entity, I need some attributes. So attributes are of different types. First one, single valued and multi-valued. Secondly, simple and composite. Third, stored and derived. Fourth one is the null value. So one by one we will discuss all the types of attributes. First of all, single valued and multi-valued attributes. The attribute which is having a single value for a particular entity is known as the single value. For example, age of a person is a single valued attribute, and attributes that are having more than one value of a particular entity is known as the multi-valued attribute. So book entity can have number of attributes. Book name can be there, the author of the book can be there, number of pages in the book can be there. So author is a multi-valued attribute, as a single book has more than one author and others are single valued. So this is the explanation for single valued and multi-valued attributes, and the symbol for representing both of them are, for representing a single valued, single oval sign is there, and for representing a multi-valued, I need to represent with the double oval. Next, it is stored and derived attribute. What are stored and derived attributes? Stored attributes are the attributes which are directly stored in the database. For example, I can say, if I can assume the table called as student, so there are attributes like student ID is there, name is there, roll number, course ID is there. So we cannot derive the value of these attributes using other attributes. I can't derive these values from some other attributes. So these are stored attributes. Okay. So, and I can give you one more example also. For example, date of birth. Date of birth is a stored attribute. I need to store the date of birth directly into the database, and I can derive age from the date of birth. So age is a derived attribute. Coming to derived attribute is an attribute whose values can be collected from the stored attribute itself. So in a student, if we consider the example of a student where I had created a table which was called as student, I'll say in a student table we have an attribute called as date of birth and age. For example, I can derive the value of age from the date of birth attribute, as I have discussed earlier. So this was all about stored and derived. Coming next, key attribute. What are key attributes? Key attributes are those that uniquely identify the entity in the entity set. For example, roll number is there. So roll number is unique for every student. So it is a key attribute and it can uniquely identify the student. Next is the null attribute. Null attribute can take null values when entity does not have value for it. What is null attribute? That means the value for that attribute can be null. So, for example, I can take the example of the net banking active bin attribute. This attribute gives us actually the whether about the customer, that is he having the net banking facility or not. But some people don't have the facility of that. So, the person can fill null in that attribute. So this is all about null attribute. Lastly, I'll discuss about simple and composite attributes. What are simple and composite attributes? Simple attributes are the attributes that cannot be further divided into its components. That means we can't split a simple attribute. For example, roll number. I had already talked, we had made a table called student, and roll number is the primary key in that, and we cannot split the roll number further. So it is a simple attribute and it is represented also in the single oval sign. And second one is the composite attributes. Composite attributes are the attributes that can be further split into the further components. For example, address of the student is of a student or someone else. It can be a composite attribute as it can further be divided into the house number, street number, state, country, postal code, PIN number and others. And moreover, name is also a composite attribute as we can split the name into first name, middle name, last name. So it was all about simple and composite attributes. Now, this was all about the ER model, our first model, that is an object-based model. And I'll conclude with the ER model. What was it? It was entity relationship model, and it has emerged as the main techniques for modeling the database design, and also it has formed a basis in the database design methodology. Then second one is the physical data model. What is physical data model? Physical data model actually describes how the data is stored in the computer, and it also represents the information like record structures, record ordering, and access paths. So it is limited model, and this is this much only. Now next one is the record based model. Record based logical model is basically used in describing the data at the logical and the view levels, and in contrast to object based model, they are used to specify overall logical structure of the database model. That is, record based model is the model that is used to describe the logical structure of the database. And I have different types of record based model. They are three types of record based model. Basically, hierarchical model is there, network model is there, and relational data model is there. So we will discuss one by one. So first of all, we will discuss hierarchical model. What is hierarchical model? Hierarchical database model is one of the oldest data model, and this model is like the structure of tree. We have the parent node, and then we have the nodes representing the fields. So hierarchical model is just like the structure of tree, with the records forming the nodes and the fields forming the branches of the tree. That is, this is the parent node, and these are the children nodes of the database model. And there are various operations we can perform on the hierarchical model are, we can easily insert, update, and delete the data. Then there are some advantages of hierarchical model, that it is simple to use and records are related in the form of the parent-child relationships. So performing various operations is just like the structure of parent and child segments is easy and simple. Then data is also secure. Each child segment can be linked only to one parent. So it will be the responsibility of the parent to handle all the childs and give them the proper information. So it provides data security, which is enforced feature of DBMS. And third one is the data integrity. The parent-child relationship between the various records in the hierarchical model is represented by the links, all the relationships, and each child segment is linked to only one parent, and child can reach through parents directly. And so this way the integrity of the data is maintained. Lastly, efficiency. The hierarchical model is very efficient as it contains 1 to n relations. That is, 1-to-1 relationship is there between the parent and the child, and the users require, when the users require large number of transactions using the data, whose relationships are fixed. Okay, then coming to disadvantages of hierarchical model, we face too many hierarchical models disadvantages there. One of the main disadvantages of hierarchical model is that we had, in the last diagram I had shown you, we had the parent node and the children node. If I want to delete some child's node, it will directly affect the parent node. So all of the data will get disturbed. That is, data management problem is there, and the structure of the hierarchical database will get disturbed. Then lack of structural independence is there, operation anomalies are there, and then implementation limitation is also there. Coming next, I'll explain you network model. Network model replaces hierarchical model, as now earlier we had discussed hierarchical model where there was direct parent-child relationship. But in network model, there is not like that. Look, this is the example of network database model where there is one parent, number of child, and relationship among them is described through links, is formed through links. That means one child can have relationship with the parent as well, and then with another child as well. So main difference is that it is easy to handle many-to-many relations. In other words, it also a record to have more than one parent we can have. So this is all about network model. Advantages are there. It has the capability to handle more relationships, ease of data access, data integrity, data independence, and database standards. In database standards, I can tell you that hierarchical model uses the standards that that is non-availability of standard is there, and in the network based model we use the different standards that includes DML, DCL, TCL, and all these languages that greatly enhance the database administration. And some of the disadvantages are also their system becomes complex, some operation anomalies occur, and there is an absence of structural independence also. Coming to our last model, that is relational data model. Relational data model stores data in the form of tables, and we have different terms in relation model we should know before discussing this model. Okay, now I'll tell you which data model should you use. A model that best suits your organization, it all depends upon the various factors. Which are those factors? Firstly, the organization's primary goals and requirements. That what are the primary goals and requirements of the organization? According to that, you need to choose your data model that should be best suited for your software organization as well. Secondly, the volume of daily transactions that will be done. Then how many transactions are being done in the data daily itself? For example, is it a banking where transactions are done regularly, or is it some other field where transactions are not that much? So we need to choose the data model according to that. So thirdly, the estimated number of inquiries that will be made by the organization. Okay, so these are the basically 3 points that according to which we are going to choose which data model we need to choose. And among the traditional data models, the widely preferred one was the relational data model. In relational data model, all the data is stored in the form of tables, and many constraints are also there through which we can easily protect our database. And then also the use of relational data model increases the productivity of application programs.